A man who was moved in and out of care more than 100 times as a child says he will not give up after a key recommendation from last year's care review was rejected by the government.
Terry Galloway from Nottingham wants to see people who've been in care given the same protection under equality law as other groups like the LGBTQ and disabled communities.
He's been travelling up and down the country persuading councils to do just that. His inspiration, a promise he made to his sister shortly before she died. Lucy Capassi reports.
Terry Galloway from Nottingham has always been strong-willed. As a child, he was taken into care and moved around 100 times, but he did all he could to get home to his mum. Now he's doing everything in his power to change the system after making a promise to his sister Hazel shortly before she died.
This is personal for you, isn't it?
It is. I was at a funeral with my sister and she wasn't very well herself at the time, and she was telling me that she felt like she'd be the next to die, and when your sister says something like that, what do you say? And for me at the time, it was about using all this trauma and all this suffering. So I spent the night trying to convince her that actually stay with it. We're gonna change the care system. But unfortunately, months later, she was next.
Hazel was murdered by an abusive partner, and Terry thinks of her often as he drives thousands of miles up and down the UK. He's visiting councils, persuading them one by one to give those who've been in care the same protection as other groups, like disabled and LGBTQ+ people. So far, he's had success at 11 local authorities, including councils in Scotland, Merseyside and London. Closer to home, 3 in Nottinghamshire have also supported the campaign: Ashfield District, Nottingham City and the Conservative-led County Council. I was told that the leader of the County Council and Conservative MP Ben Bradley was unavailable to speak to me, but Labour leader Kate Foll told me why her party was keen to support Terry's motion and what it will mean.
And he comes with such integrity and such passion and enthusiasm for care experienced people. He's an amazing campaigner. And so when we'd read some of the information he gave us and talked to him at quite some length, we thought, we have got to get behind Terry on this one. The next step locally in Nottinghamshire is to make sure that care experienced people are properly supported. And that is taken into account formally through the equality impact assessments that we do here, that include things like gender and disability. We will make absolutely sure that is taken into account when policies are actually put into practice.
Last year's care review concluded that the disadvantage faced by the care experience should be the civil rights issue of our time. It said children in care are powerless and often invisible to society. It recommended that to tackle the stigma and discrimination care leavers face, the UK should become the first country in the world to recognise care experience as a legally protected characteristic in equalities legislation. Today, the Department of Education responded to that review, but said it won't be pursuing this particular law change. That was Terry's fear, and why he's working with councils to start changing things himself.
So when you're in the public gallery at the council and you hear them say agreed or motion passed, what goes through your mind?
It's elation, because each council, it's been a process, and to hear it and to watch them vote, it's just elation. It really is, because when they get to understand the issues, they care. They really do care.
Terry's ultimate aim is for the government to change the law, and while disappointed they've decided not to do that today, he's not giving up.
Somebody's got to do this. I need to stand up for care experienced people. I need to honour my sister's legacy, and if I have to go to every council in the United Kingdom, that's what I'll do.